Welcome to our Friday live stream this week in Cannabis News, powered by Dutchie. Each Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, we deliver an overview of this week's cannabis news. It's quick, it's comprehensive, and it sends you into the weekend as a more informed cannabis professional, and it's all made possible by our friends at Dutchie. You can find and connect with the team there through a link in the show notes. Now let's get to it. Late Sunday night, Governor Greg Abbott vetoed SB 3 in Texas, a bill that would have banned intoxicating hemp in that state. He did it with just minutes left until the midnight deadline, when it would have become law with or without the governor's signature. The bill became a political football as Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick took on the cause of banning hemp-derived intoxicants. Both Patrick and Abbott are Republicans, but fell on opposite sides of the issue. There's an estimated 8,500 hemp shops across Texas, according to a report from hemp company Hometown Hero and Whitney Economics. The industry supports about 53,000 jobs and generates an estimated $268 million in annual tax revenue, so the economic stakes are pretty high if the ban were to go into effect. There will be a special session of the legislature to take up this and other issues in Texas, so stay tuned. During a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on Tuesday, North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis, a North Carolina Republican, said this, aimed at his Republican colleagues: "I have tried to keep pounding the table and saying, folks, those of us who are not necessarily eager to legalize pot have lost." He went on, "We've got to get this under control. We have to realize that pot is going to be legal in this country in one form or another, and virtually every other state. We can either figure out how to regulate it by putting a USDA regimen in place, or an FDA regimen in the same way that we do for alcohol and tobacco." Now, that's not the first time he said such things, but we are eager to hear him say it more frequently. Speaking of Republicans supporting cannabis reform, a new survey found that 53% of Utahns are in favor of legal cannabis. The survey, which was conducted by Deseret News and the Hinckley Institute of Politics, also found that 77% of respondents support the state's current medical cannabis law. We have more on this story on Cultivated.news. Now, cannabis attorney Jason Adelstone of the firm Harris Sliwowski argued that U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has the authority to reschedule cannabis if it would bring the United States better in line with its international treaty obligations, specifically the Single Convention on Narcotics Drugs. The UN Commission on Narcotics Drugs voted to remove cannabis from its most restrictive classification in 2020, acknowledging that there could be medical benefits derived from the plant. Meanwhile, the U.S. government classifies cannabis as a Schedule I drug, lacking any medical use. This would certainly be a lot simpler than the administrative law process for rescheduling, currently on pause in the U.S. And we often talk about cannabis sales in and around New York, of course, but New York has many great cities and regions, including the one I'm in right now. And this week, our friends at Lit Alerts and our partners there showcased the greater Buffalo area, including Erie and Niagara counties. New York juggernauts like Heirloom, Jaunty, and MFNY are present in the top brands, while out-of-state upstart Rove continues to show its face in the top spots. This region's demand spends slightly more towards vapes and pre-rolls when compared to the New York State averages. Vapes and pre-roll products are also driving slightly higher prices per package in these counties. On this chart, you see the top brands and top retailers in the region. And if you want a closer look, visit the exclusive Lit Alerts insights in our Tuesday newsletter on Cultivated.news. And finally, one fun thing, how hot was it this week in New York City? Well, hot enough to light a joint on the granite bench in Washington Square Park, as Josh Kesselman, the founder of Raw and the recent purchaser of High Times, found out.
Chasing rich, baby. Oh, baby. Gravy getting in.
Thank you, Josh, for doing the important work. Thank all of you for joining us here today. Thank you, Lit Alerts, for your partnership and exclusive insights this week in the greater Buffalo area. And especially thank you to Dutchie for making this show possible each and every week. You can find all of these stories and much, much more on Cultivated.news. We'd also love if you follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube to stay connected on socials. And we will not be back next Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern because it is July 4th. It's also my anniversary next Friday, so stay tuned for the week after. For This Week in Cannabis News, powered by Dutchie, have a good and safe weekend this weekend. Have a good and safe long weekend next weekend. We'll see you back in mid-July.